I am your host, Beth Clardy Lewis. I'm the founder of Verve Well Counseling, the founder of Long Live Lively, and the founder of this podcast. Welcome to the Verve Well Counseling podcast, titled This Won't Be Done by 5, which gives a nod to the human condition, which simply holds no deadlines. I'm just going to stop there. Thank you for joining us to the Verve Well Counseling podcast, titled This Won't Be Done by 5, which gives a nod to the human condition that simply holds no deadlines. We are here today with the two beautiful women of Youthful Magnolia in Fort Worth, Texas, Amy and Allie. If you two wouldn't mind just jumping in and introducing yourselves and what your role is at Youthful, and can I call it Youthful? I am already truncating the name, so is that okay? Yeah. All right, go ahead. One of you jump in and take it from here.
You want it, Allie? You want me to take it?
Go ahead, Amy. You got it, girl.
All right. So I'm Amy Robbins. I'm a nurse anesthetist and a nurse practitioner, and I own Youthful Magnolia. I started it kind of in 2015 and kind of let it just kind of prosper and grow itself. We focus a lot on aesthetics and wellness, and probably a lot of longevity as well when you start talking about like peptide therapy and things like that. So Allie's here. I kind of recruited her, and we're trying to build a very safe, fun place for people to come get treatments and talk about hormones and peptides and whatever it is they need to talk about. We like to call it chair therapy when you come sit in a chair.
Love that.
True. So true. Yeah. I'm Allie Barnes. Like Amy said, I'm a family nurse practitioner with a background in pediatric oncology. So this is a totally different shift. And I have a couple other jobs, but this is my fun job that I love so much. And I've been here, I guess, we've been over here for almost 2 years now, right, Amy? In April?
We have
New building in April over off Magnolia that we love so much. And yeah, it's a blast and so much fun to hang out with girls and guys who just want to make themselves feel a little sassier on the inside and the outside. So
I love that. Talk to me a little bit about, and Heather, can I disclose that I think that you're a client of the Youthful Magnolia brand? And Allie's my girl. If I lived there, currently I'm in New England. I'm in the Northeast, and I'm about to land in Connecticut. But if I lived there, Heather and I would be at your door every morning, knocking and making sure you got us in, because I love the services you offer so much. And I wish there were one up here in Mystic, Connecticut, because that's where I would be going. Tell us a little more in detail about what, for somebody who doesn't know what you're talking about when you say peptides and chair therapy and injections and injectables and that kind of stuff. Like, talk to us about what all that is. Shoot straight, speak to us like we don't know what any of it means. Though Heather and I do, but go ahead.
So, when I started, I've been doing anesthesia since 2006. And I kind of noticed when I was doing anesthesia, especially like in the GI lab, when you're doing propofol sedation for people having colonoscopies and EGDs, we're not just doing it for screenings and things. We're doing it for people who have, other GI symptoms and stuff like that. And you just start reading, you have to read a medical history and patients' prescriptions and things like that. And I noticed that I felt like when I was visiting with a patient coming for Botox or some sort of injectable treatment, they sat in my chair probably longer than they sat in their primary care's office seeing the doctor, because I think that a lot of those visits are down to like 15 minutes. And even that, when I was doing my rotations as a family nurse practitioner, student, they were quad booking my nurse practitioner and in 15-minute blocks. So she'd have 4 patients in 15-minute blocks. So she was seeing like 16 plus patients in an hour. And I understand like medical follow-ups or medicine follow-ups don't require a lot of, too much interaction, but I just felt like the education was so minimal in primary care that I felt like we were doing a lot more of that in our chair, talking about who they were, what's going on in their life. You talk about medications they're on, especially if you're going to start talking about weight loss consults and stuff, because you want to know, are they on thyroid medicine or are they on hormone replacement? Because that can play a big role in how the body's functioning. And so that's kind of where I call the chair therapy coming into play, because I think a lot of people just need 30 to 45 minutes just to decompress from life and sit down. And it's just nice to kind of go through all the steps of everything while you're getting a treatment done. If it's Botox, other injectables could be like if you want a little cheek filler or you want a little something going on. We're just trying to balance out the face as we age, age is just never going to stop. So how do we slow it a little bit? And then like peptide therapy is something that's kind of been out on the market for a good while. I felt like it was more in the weightlifting, bodybuilding, bikini shows, stuff like that, prior to it actually like kind of coming out in the general population. And so these is what we would tie more to like a longevity health. Like, are we going to help cellular health? Are we going to help inflammation? Are we going to help mind? There's a lot of classifications of peptides, and it's just trying to figure out where are we wanting to treat that person at the time that they're talking to us about it, and then what do we add to it once we kind of get them through a couple of cycles of, say, we want to boost their cellular health or their mitochondrial health, and then it's like, okay, well, let's add in something for inflammation or joint pain, things like that. I mean, we have stuff that helps with anxiety and cognitive function. It's pretty impressive stuff.
That's awesome. I love that, because I feel like it does fall into the category of kind of what we focus on at Vervewell, among a litany of things, but just that self-care approach. We approach therapy and we promote therapy and we encourage therapy as a form of self-care. That's the population that we typically serve. Mm-hmm. So we believe in it as something to do nicely to yourself. And I think that Youthful Magnolia falls into that beautifully, because I certainly know that any of the treatments I've received in my life, I go in so excited to sit, and it's just spa-like, and it feels like someone loving on me, and it just feels, and I leave and I like the results of me. And I think that that's an important relationship for women to have with themselves, is being able to just really dig who it is that they are. And that comes from inside, it comes from outside, it comes from all angles. I get my feathers ruffled when I hear people, and I listen to it for half a second, don't get me wrong, but when I hear people say, oh, women should be natural, women should just let the aging process thing, and good on you, do it how you want to do it. That's right, do it how you want to do it. If that's your jam, like, age the way you want to. I'm also aging the way I want to. And so it's just kind of goes into the little bit of the my body, my choice kind of rant. And I get to do aging the way I want to. And I get to do therapy the way I want to. And I get to love me the way I want to. And ideally, what we promote at Vervewell Counseling is we're going to encourage you and get in your corner to love you in a really heightened way. Like, we're going to want you to really walk out with a sense of swagger and a sense of like, I kind of got some shit going on. Like, I've got some things to contribute to the world. I've got some really good service to provide others. I've got hugs to give. I've got love to give. And those are our people. Like, that's what we are proud of at the end of our day. Yeah. When we can say our clients like who they are. And that sounds like what you're also contributing to that. It's really cool.
And that comes in like so many different facets. Like, it doesn't just mean we're going to put some filler in your lips or we're going to put filler in your cheeks. It could mean that we got you on a skincare regimen and now you look in the mirror and you feel like your acne looks better, or your skin texture is prettier and you're glowy. And it's like you see yourself in a picture and you maybe really hated looking at a certain spot or a certain wrinkle or something else. And then you take, selfies in the future and you feel just a little cuter, a little bit better about yourself. And that goes a really long way. I think people, yeah, it's like mind your business. If someone wants to go tox their forehead and do a Moxie laser and that's their fun Christmas break, then pop off, do it,
Exactly
right?
right.
If it's
Exactly
not what
right.
you want to do, that's fine. I just feel like, it's like when you have a fresh blowout or a new outfit, or, you get your teeth whitened, like those are all little things that you're doing to contribute to yourself, to make yourself feel a little bit more confident and be able to walk with your head up high. And whatever that looks like for you is your business. And to a lot of people and a lot of our patients that we love so much, like it does mean sometimes that they want a little half syringe of filler in their lips, or that they want their jawline to look a little different, or they want to finally take the step and start a peptide. So it looks different for everybody, but our youthful patients, they're all used to getting to come sit down and kind of just walk out feeling a lot better about themselves. It was super cool.
I love that so much. Heather, what's your take on, do you have clients, or I know you do, but what is your take when you speak to your clients, or even I've had clients that I've encouraged to go do these services and like get out and go get things going for you, Allie, to your point, because it's like it goes a long way. Like you said, being able to take the selfies and see yourself, and we're in an industry, I know Heather and I specifically, we see ourselves on a screen hours and hours and hours a day.
Absolutely.
And
you're like constantly staring.
Yeah. And it's a new
time. It ruined that for people too, right? Like it's like you started zooming things and you're like, what is that?
It used to not be that way. I didn't ever have to look at myself.
I know.
Now we're definitely seeing ourselves.
It made a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Heather, what do you hear, or what do you encourage your clients, or what do you hear from your clients when it comes to just kind of self-care, and where do you find your clients find good self-care, if that is a question that makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it kind of goes back to what we were saying is I do a lot of work with my clients, and I'll tell them even in my consult calls, I said, our goal is for you to just step out as a better version of yourself. And that's up to you what that looks like, right? Like that, if that is getting your anxiety under control, if that is learning to love yourself more, working on confidence, self-esteem, if that's getting back into a routine with motivation, with working out or eating healthier, but it's literally like they're in charge. I always say you're in charge of this session. Doesn't mean I'm not going to ask questions. Doesn't mean I'm not going to push and poke and prod at those hard spaces, but they're always in control. So with that, I'm okay with their goals, right? And so I think it's a place where people can really open up to me and say, I just can't even look at myself in the mirror anymore. And we talk about, well, what does that mean? And some of it is like, I used, I don't like my skin texture. And I feel like, I look in the mirror and I look so tired. So it makes me feel even more tired. And so some of that is, I think, a way that going forward and using some of the services that Youthful Magnolia provides, like the medical grade skincare and lasering and red light therapy, the peptide therapy, all those things. It's a way to kind of give us ourselves back a little bit. It's not that I don't like who I am. It's just that I don't feel like myself. And I think as we shift into more of the perimenopausal time, which I'm heavy into at 52, almost 53, it's the changes are different because I didn't used to have the physical feelings of aging. And I've always felt like I aged pretty well. But then when you have the physical feelings of aging and you're like, okay, I got this. And then you look in the mirror and you go, what the, like, where did that come from? Or how is it saggy? Or I don't have any volume in my face or whatever. You're like, no. And we can't always do something about the physical components. Like our body is our body and we can try as hard as we can, but it just has a mind of its own sometimes. But with the aesthetic component, we can do something about that. We can make choices. And so I think that's, for me, that's the biggest part. I try to empower my clients, like make the choices that you want. Go get Botox if you want Botox. Get filler if you want. And I didn't pay attention in the class where they told us in grad school we weren't supposed to self-disclose. because I do it all the time as appropriate. And I will tell, and people are like, you look so great. And I'm like, thanks. It's the Botox and the filler and the lotion that costs $175. Thanks for asking.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. Yeah, I love that.
So I'm very transparent with like, well, I do it. And here's my girl. I go to Allie at Youthful Magnolia, and Allie's been the recipient of several of my clients, as I have been the recipient of some of her fabulous people to be able to provide therapy. So I think that's what it's about. It's just accepting us overall and making our own choices, like empowering clients to make choices no matter what it is. For me, that's the biggest thing.
Well, and it leaks into when we have, and again, working with couples the way both Heather and I do, and marriages, relationships, even parent-child, it doesn't matter, whatever the relationship, all of what you just said leaks into, spills all over the relationship component, because if we're not feeling good about who we are, we're fucking kicking the dog, so to speak. Like we're yelling out sideways. It's coming out all over the place. And so if we don't feel, and I'm not blaming, I'm not saying anyone who's in a challenging relationship and they're in constant conflict or constantly fighting, it's because they don't love themselves. That's not always the case, but there's a piece of that can absolutely be in there. And so it's our job, my job, Heather's job, to make sure we're looking at each individual as they couple up in our offices to make sure we're learning how they feel about themselves in the world and outside of the relationship, and just kind of as they parent, as they are a professional, as they're in a relationship, whatever it is, how do they feel? And that goes deep, and that has deep ties. Sometimes it has deep wounds. And so being able to purge on the emotional side that Heather and I tackle, and also couple that out there in the wild with beauty and self-care and the elective things that make us feel good and make us walk a little bit, like Allie said, a little bit more sassy, then what a great team that the four of us can offer. What a great team up, which is the point of this wellness program too, is these partners program is bringing entrepreneurs together, bringing small businesses together that are on this same page, in this lane with us, about how can we support the beautiful people in our community and let them have really good love in their lives, and let them have really healthy versions of themselves. Let them look in the mirror and go, I like you, that kind of stuff. That's the good shit. That's powerful. And it makes me feel good about my job. Yeah. I'm sure y'all can understand that as well.
Yeah.
Allie and Amy, talk a little bit about, if you will, because I think a lot of people are very familiar with Botox and fillers of all kinds, right? Like that's all over the place, and people are really familiar with that. But I've had some, I wouldn't have known about any of these kinds of things, but I've had some treatments, and it will continue to have treatments with the lasers. And can you guys share a little bit with our audience about the power of that and the different kinds and kind of what that does for people? Because I don't think many people focus in on that. And I think that that's something that it's like really, truly miraculous what it does.
Yeah. So we have several lasers that we offer here, and most common are going to be our broadband light and Moxie treatments. And what the broadband light does is it is intermittent pulse light therapy, but now we're looking at a broadband light spectrum. And so there's like a light chart per se, and then it shows like different wavelengths in the chart, and then it shows like where it penetrates in different depths of the face, and then what's in the face is actually receiving that light therapy. And so like melanin is one, which is pigment. Hemoglobin is another, which is the reds. And water. We all have water in our face. So those are kind of the three molecules that these lights penetrate. And so when somebody has a lot of pigment in their face, it's a great treatment to help lift the pigment to the surface of the skin, and then let it flake off over the next like 7 days. We pair it a lot with Moxie because I call it the baby laser. It's a wavelength of laser that doesn't go as deep as other ones do, but it can really finish off what BBL did. And that melon can absorb that laser light therapy. And then it just kind of punches microchannels into the skin And then that all heals over 7 days. And so what we're looking at that type of treatment is not just like, oh, your skin's going to look so pretty, because it will, but we're really looking at a lot of cellular health, because I think a lot of everything we do is kind of boils down to what's going on at the cellular level. And a lot of us in the skin and through the body as well, we kind of have like senescent cells that are like, we call them zombie cells. They're not doing anything. They're the ones that can kind of go rogue on us. It's where cancers can kind of come from. So these broadband light treatments and even laser treatments, they're just really good at getting in there and waking those cells back up. And it just like makes your skin prettier, but like long term. It's not just like you get the treatment and it's done in three weeks and your skin goes back to normal. It just like gets better and better. And there's Stanford University did a longitudinal study on just broadband light therapy, and we call it Forever Young Broadband Light. So we're not really like seeking out pigment. We're not seeking out your reds. We're just running a 640 filter, which is a near infrared filter to help penetrate deeper into the tissue and really stimulate collagen production. And within that 10-year study, they did baseline photos and photos throughout. At 10 years, the patients looked either younger than their 10-year photo, and this was doing 3 BBLs, just three BBLs a year. They looked within 2 to 3 years of that 10-year prior photo, or they looked younger, and the ribosomes that they biopsied were actually aging backwards. And so I think like that's really kind of where this laser therapy comes from. And so like I love a BBL Moxie because it's just, people who don't have a ton of like wrinkles and things like that in their skin and folds, thick folds, things like that. It's great just to kind of like clean it all off and do, if you can do 2 or 3 a year, it's like perfect. And then we can step up into the more aggressive lasers like Halo, Contour TRL, and Profractionation. And so those are going to be where we're going to really resurface the skin. And those lasers are, again, seeking out the same molecules just from a different spectrum. But they're all really good at just getting rid of like precancerous cells on our skin. So it's a lot of, like I said, cellular health and just like keeping the skin revitalized and helping people who have especially extensive sun damage. So I love them.
Yeah. It changes what your face looks like. I mean, it changes the texture and the look of your skin.
That's lovely.
And a lot of it's collagen remodeling. So, as you're punching holes in the skin, that collagen is going to come back in and kind of lay down more strings and make things really tight. I know from my own, like I always tell people, like, if you have a lot of forehead lines and things like that, and you just feel like you can't get rid of them all the time, and you want that nice, pretty baby skin, getting these treatments done really will eventually, like, you're going to get more thickness and tightness in that forehead. And I do feel like I hardly ever, I get treated with my neurotoxin treatments here and there, but nothing like I used to. I don't do full dosing like I used to.
You like forget when you're due, I feel like.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you're like, oh, I
guess I'm kind of moving. Yeah.
I would text Allie and be like, hey, I think I need some tox. And she's like, yeah, that makes sense. It's like 15 weeks ago. I'm like, oh, okay. But I have noticed I've had the BBL and the Moxie and the Halo, I think, well.
You did.
I don't know. I just go in and go, I don't know, Allie, just do me. I don't know.
Can I just interrupt? And y'all are going to have to tell me what BBL stands for.
I know. I almost said something because whenever she was saying that, I was like, we're not talking about Brazilian butt lifts, people.
I'm like, a Brazilian butt lift on your face?
Which is fair.
Although, you go with that if you want one.
Please pop off and do that too if you need one. BBL is broadband light. So when she was talking about the broadband light laser, that's BBL. Yep,
Thank you. BBL. Appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
I noticed a huge difference in texture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just in like the texture.
Oh, yeah.
Even with Botox, what I would notice is like that, like almost like crinkly tissue paper look to your skin. Like if you didn't have enough moisturizer on, and like I like literally don't ever see, like right now on a podcast that's being recorded for the public, I have lipstick on, eyelashes and lipstick. That's it. I have no makeup on. Otherwise,
that's
I don't have makeup. I have lipstick.
I was like, we have lip gloss on too.
Heather knows I have not worn makeup in I don't know how long. Like I don't wear makeup either, and I do things. Like I do Botox, and I've had filler and do filler, but I have no lashes anymore. I took the extensions off. And I spend my money on good skincare, and that's that. I don't put anything else on.
Yes.
So and to me, and again, do me, do you, like, again, that's where I feel really good. I feel good about that. So that speaks to me. So that's been a nice progression I'll be 56 next month. And I wore a picture, a funny little quick side, on my television pictures. My personal pictures pop up when something's paused or whatever. And a picture of me popped up in like 2014. I don't know. And I just looked at it and I'm like, oh, girl, you were trying. Like, you were trying with that makeup. I do not know how to put makeup on. So I was these old pictures pop up and I'm like, oh, sweet thing. You were doing your best. But it's been a nice progression to be like, fuck the makeup for me. Just like get it down. But I can't say, my brother loves to keep me honest. He's like, stop saying you don't wear makeup because you do all this other stuff. I'm like, well, that other stuff ain't makeup. So shut it.
So you're not going to put tinted moisturizer on your face and walking out the door and feel good about
exactly.
that.
Exactly.
So Beth, you mentioned the medical grade skincare. Girls, can y'all talk about, because that's been a game changer for me too. Like I one of the things that I actually listened to my mother on way back was I started wearing eye cream at like 25. I didn't need eye cream at 25, but I'm almost 53, and you can tell I've been wearing eye cream since I was 25, right? And it was crap. It was grocery store eye cream, but it was something. And I have shifted into the medical grade skincare world off and on, but I'm full on now and have been, I don't know what, for probably 2 years, Allie, maybe close to 2 years. So will y'all talk a little bit about like the investment in that and the power of that and the importance of that? Because I think people also don't understand, like, when they don't choose that, they're actually doing more damage, or it's actually going to cost them more in the long run than if they just invested in that now. So will y'all speak a little bit to that?
We love skincare at Youthful Magnolia. We will preach on it all day long because we really do feel like it makes a huge difference. And if you look back at any of our pictures before in comparison to where we're at now, it's really, truly remarkable. And we all attest medical grade skincare to a lot of that. So you said the word investment, which we preach a lot. We say you're protecting your investment whenever you're using medical grade skincare. So you're coming to us for these treatments and they're not cheap, right? And you're excited about them and some people are saving for them, but the in-between, what you're doing in between really makes a huge difference. Like Amy mentioned with lasers, saying, I don't even remember, the last time I got a neurotoxin and I don't know if I need one. She's pairing medical grade skincare with lasers all in combination, but it's just so helpful. We're big Zeo people. We have different types of skincare here, but we all love Zeo. We all love Dr. Baji. And people don't realize, right, the top 15 layers of your skin are dead. And so people talk about, I have a really great moisturizer. And, you take these classes and you listen in, and the science behind everything is so interesting. And I know Amy can talk about this till the cows come home too, but when you want to be treating the underneath, because when all your dead skin cells come off on the top because they're already dead, the skin that's coming up and underneath is, if it's healthy and beautiful, then that's what everyone's looking at. And so people that say, I just really need a great moisturizer. Well, that's okay. But when you're using a moisturizer, you're literally moisturizing dead skin cells on top of your face, right? And so when you actually use, in Dr. Abaji world, he does something called Get Skin Ready. And so when you're using a cleanser, you're using a toner, a complexion toner pad, you've got Daily Power Defense, which is, we say it's Zeo's version of moisturizer because it feels like a moisturizer, but it's really going down deep and helping your cells underneath get healthy so that they're gorgeous. Whenever you use your exfoliating polish to slough off the top, it's pretty skin that's coming underneath. And then we'll preach till the cows come home that an SPF, you have to wear an SPF because not only just we're in Texas, but anytime you walk outside without a hat on or SPF, you're just causing sun damage to your face. But we could talk about all of it, and there's long skincare regimens that you really can do, but we start most people off just with the basic anti-aging kit with a Get Skin Ready, and we tell you, you get a travel size anti-aging kit here, and I say as soon as these bottles are empty, I can promise you that you're going to notice a difference in your skin, and we say we're not trying to give you all the things, like just take an anti-aging kit, and sure enough, like in those 2 weeks, they're like, wait a second, like my face feels like a baby's butt. I notice a difference. I feel a little like, shinier. And then they're hooks, and they truly are hooks.
I love this so much. Do you, Amy and Allie, have on your website by chance, do you have the information on the skincare, or is that something that needs to be learned when we schedule with you and come in for consultations or come in for treatments?
I'll let you take it, Amy.
I don't think we have. I kind of have a blog on the website now, and I don't think we've talked about just skincare yet. We've talked more about pairing peptides with lasers and hormones and peptides and things like that. But it's a huge topic, and we do try to. I think Allie's got it in her like in the highlights of her Instagram.
Okay.
And I have a pod. We have a little podcast too, and I talk about it there. But yeah, we try to talk about it a lot here in the chair. Talking to them.
I love that. Well, I love that. And I want to say, we're going to start wrapping up. We've got to wrap up promptly today because all four of us have busy Fridays ahead. But thank you both so much for the time that you've taken to generously inform our audience and to connect with us and to be a part of our partners program, where we are just with soul and heart supporting the beautiful people of our community and helping them just really thrive and lift their own lives. Thank you for making the time. Where can our listeners learn about you? What is your website? What is your social media channels? If you want to share that, shoot.
Well, youthfulmagnolia.com is like your hub to be able to read anything about any of the procedures or any of the services that we offer. So that's got great info. You can book there as well. And then, all of us have, there's a Youthful Magnolia Instagram page that's literally just Youthful Magnolia. And then we all try to do a really great job with education. And sometimes they're funny reels and videos, but sometimes they're, very educational reels and befores and afters on our own personal pages as well. Mine is Dr. Allie Barnes, Dr. Allie Barnes. And Amy's is Fort Worth
FT Worth Injector.
Yep.
So
what is it again?
Yeah,
Allie?
and then we have like I said, we do have some blogs.
What is yours again, Amy? I'm sorry, I'm writing it down. What is your
FT Worth Injector?
FT Worth Injector. Thank you. Okay. You were saying something and I interrupted you. Please continue.
And then we have the podcast is, I think, Youthful Magnolia After Hours. I think.
After Dark, I think.
After Dark or After Hours. I have to look it up because I hate watching anything I do because I hate watching myself.
Well,
just put it out there. I don't want to look at it again.
This is what we'll gather all of these information for anyone's listening. You can also get onto Verbal Counseling's email list because we send out a follow-up email about all of the things that we're talking about with our guests on our podcast and making sure that we connect our audience with your services. So thank you so much for being here. Yeah. And again, if you need any services from Heather or myself or our spectacular Verbal Counseling team, you can find all things Vervewell at vervewell.org, which includes our podcast, our email list, our blog, and then a website that I've written, which is Long Live Lively. And that offers 21-day courses to lift your life in the in-between of therapy when you are not in the chair therapy at either Youthful Magnolia or Verbal Counseling. So thank you all so much for being here. It was a delight. And I look forward to getting into Fort Worth and probably tapping on your door and seeing what we can do.
We're always happy to meet friends. We would love to meet anybody in our chairs anytime soon.
I'm going to push them into our offices. You can scan the QR code and schedule with Youthful Magnolia, and all Verbal clients get a free red light therapy session. And the red light therapy is the bed, and you get to lay down and take a nap, and it's fabulous. So take advantage of that.
So glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop recording now. Hey, you. Yeah, you. I told my therapist about